Hey everybody, Sean Bukowski here. Hope you're all doing well and had a great Memorial Day weekend. I wanted to talk today about something that we've seen a rise in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, and that's subject to acquisitions. I think there's a reason for that. Before we get into what they are, I think there's a reason for that in that, the debt markets are so tight right now, and as a result, it's hard to get debt, and the debt that you do is going to be at interest rates that are significantly above what people were getting 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and as a result, obviously assumptions might be on the rise, but we've also seen a rise in this subject to acquisitions. So what are they? It's basically sort of like an assumption, except that the uh, buyer of the property is not assuming the debt. It stays with the seller, but the buyer will effectively assume payments of the debt. You can see the benefits of this. You can potentially be a quick close. You get some really, low debt that exactly what the rates are going to be, and that can really help with the return ROI for the property, especially since it's debt that's going to most likely come at a significantly lower level than it would have, or I mean, if you had to get, then it would if you go to the market right now. But there's risks, man. There's some serious risk to the buyer and seller. The first being is that this will almost assuredly trigger a due on sale clause, or at least it can trigger a due on sale clause. And what that is if the property is transferred, if it's sold, the under the loan agreement, the lender has the right to immediately call the note, and if it's not paid, they can foreclose, and that's obviously a significant risk to the buyer. Now, could you work something out with the lender? Quite possibly, but that's a whole new sort of ball of worms there, whatever it is, whatever that saying is, that you're going to have to deal with if that deal on sale clause is triggered, because it will most certainly violate that clause. And so there is significant risk to the buyer, and then from the seller's perspective, uh, the seller is still on the hook for that note, especially if it's a recourse loan. So you have the seller has the risk of the buyer not paying the note, and obviously the first step is likely to be the foreclosure. But if there's any shortfall and it's a recourse note, that can come potentially on the buyer. And then there's also the question, I guess, if it is non-recourse, whether selling is violating the bad boy provisions. I doubt that. I have to look at it individually, but I doubt that. But anyway, look, it can be subject to, we see on a rise in this, it can be a very good thing. It's definitely something worth looking into, but it comes with significant risk to buyer and seller. So please, please, please make sure you have a good agreement that spells out the responsibilities and duties of each of the parties to the process. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you please follow our YouTube channel and our podcast and our weekly email. And if you have any questions, give Bukowski Law Firm a call. Thanks.